It also gets really warm in here because a lot of bodies.
There's Bob. Oh. Donnie.
There he is. Oh, all ready for work.
Lights.
Oh, wow. I'll let Bob get situated.
Me, situated, yeah, right.
As best you can.
At least get your jacket off, sit down.
Yeah. You all set? You all good, Bob?
As if ever be.
Okay. We all set? Marlene? Pam?
Yep.
All set? Okay. Welcome to the City of Manistee Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, May 7th, 2026. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Here.
Commissioner Weiner,
Here.
Commissioner Membertu,
Here.
Commissioner McBride, Commissioner McBride, and Chair Whitliff.
Here. Thank you.
Absent is Commissioner Zamansky and Commissioner Yoder.
Okay, approval of agenda. At this time, the Planning Commission can take action to approve the May 7th, 2026 agenda. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Shelley, second
I'll second.
by Pam. Discussion? None. Please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Membertu,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes. Thank you. Conflicts of interest. Is there any member of the Planning Commission with any type of conflict of tonight's agenda? Please speak up. None? Approval of minutes. This time the chair can ask for a motion to approve the minutes for the April 2nd, 2026 meeting.
I make the motion.
Motion by Bob, second
I'll second it.
by Marlene. Discussion? None? Please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Membertu,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride, Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Correspondence has been shared with the Planning Commission and will not be read aloud tonight. Next is speaker Sammy from the Manistee Tourism Journey Riverwalk.
Yes, thank you.
Next month we have Mark Fetter.
It's nice to see a lot of people here at the Planning Commission meeting.
Sorry,
Sammy, look,
it restarted. I'm just gonna have to log back in.
oh, okay. Well, I'm Sammy Lukaskevitz. I'm the Executive Director of Manistee Tourism. Welcome, everybody. It's nice to be able to see people's faces from over here. I wanted to stop by and walk you through Journeys, the new project that we'd like to do on the Riverwalk, and share an update about that. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the fact that this does not take taxpayer dollars, so we're not asking for any funding. I just wanted to bring it forth to bring it for your awareness, because people support what they help build, and just to get it in front of as many people as I can throughout this part of the, I guess, the organization phase. It's very exciting to talk a little bit about what Manistee Tourism does.
It's just circle, circle,
Okay.
circle.
I love the little blue wheel of death that
Yeah.
happens when you need your computer on. So do you want me to proceed to go through it without visuals, or just kind of hold
Yeah,
off
we
for
can
a while?
hopefully catch up if the machine works.
Okay, I'll stall for a little bit.
Okay.
You might have heard about Journeys. we recently received, along with the City of Manistee, an America 250 grant of $50,000. The Tourism Authority matched $15,000, which was required by the grant. And in addition, we're kicking in another $45,000 to get this completed. But this would not be possible without a $110,000 in-kind donation of steel from Alro Steel, which is going to supply all the steel for the project, and West Shore Community College, who is building a curriculum for their welding students so the students can actually weld all the metals and put it all together. So in total, it's a pretty big project for our Riverwalk, but it's also going to replace the 22 monuments that are along the Riverwalk now. Along the 1.5 mile stretch, there's about 22 monuments that tell the story of Manistee in different locations. We're going to refortify those and build them into the design of journeys. Over 25 years, those monuments have been there, and they're all in varying stages of degradation. From some are painted gray, some are brown. At a minimum, they're falling apart, and 25 years in the wood it's relentless when you're in the weather. And think about your deck maintenance that takes place. A deck that lasts beyond 25 years is a pretty substantial deck. But when you have layer upon layer of paint on it, it's unsightly at this point. So we're reimagining all those panels and then putting in additional panels to tell you about the story of Manistee. In addition, there are 6 signs that were placed as a result of the EDA grant that tourism donated to the city. That'll be a map source that will tell you where you are on the Riverwalk, because that's one thing that we have down there is you have this great expanse of Riverwalk, but you don't know where you are. So this tells you how to get to the Riverwalk. It's all sorts of neat things that brings the Riverwalk a little bit more to life. But the Journeys project is really about enhancing our Riverwalk through storytelling. It's not just a physical improvement to our newly refurbished Riverwalk, but it's interpretive and it's also an educational investment. And yes, it's for tourists, but it's also for locals. I live here and I walk the Riverwalk, and I learn something new every time I read those signs. But our goals with this project are to bring Manistee's history to life, to create a stronger sense of place along the Riverwalk, to add a meaningful attraction for everybody to enjoy, both residents and for visitors, and build on existing tourism and placemaking efforts. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but this will be very similar to Origins, which is in Douglas Park along the Riverwalk as well. So what is Journeys? It's an interpretive installation that tells the story of Manistee through a series of themes. The first one is the indigenous and the tribal migration, fisheries and natural resources, maritime history and vessels, and industrial development, including lumber, salt, and manufacturing. And it really is going to tell the story of the people, but also the culture and the manufacturing that shaped our entire community. It's designed to be immersive, but also walkable. So you can touch these things, you can be a part, stand in these things, and I'll show you examples a little bit later. But it builds directly on the strength of the Riverwalk as Manistee County's #1 most visited destination in our county. And we've got the entire county geofenced. The Riverwalk is the #1 place where people go and visit. But we're adding visual interest through sculptural elements, providing educational content through interpretive panels, and we're creating new reasons for people to stop and reflect along the Riverwalk and spend more time downtown, because we want that. And we're taking the signage that's currently there and we're making it more informative. So the site location of the Riverwalk. In all Journeys, installations will be located along existing portions of the Riverwalk on the corridor from the Municipal Marina all the way to Maple Street Bridge. And that will be integrating with some of the current infrastructure that's there. So there's already some existing sites there's already existing signage that's there that we're going to replace. There's sculptural installations representing the 4 key themes. There's a central journeys introduction area, so everybody will know, where they are along the Riverwalk and what they're looking at. And all of this has been placed strategically to guide movement along the Riverwalk panels. Are there any questions so far for me? Okay. We'll be using Core 10 steel, which is the same steel that we used in Origins. And I should ask, are you familiar with Origins and at the placement of the 20 most influential people that made Manistee? That was a project that we did in conjunction with the Manistee County Historical Museum and the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians Historic Preservation. Likewise, those 2 entities are also helping us with journeys to ensure its accuracy. But the Core 10 steel will be used because it's durable, but it's also aesthetic. And Core 10 steel patinas over time, so in essence, each piece within Journeys is a work of art because it will change as it's weathered. But it's also durable and weather resistant, and it's really striking. And it's pretty symbolic when you see what the sculptures look like, but it's also low maintenance. So we don't want to create something that's going to drain the Department of Public Works, or we don't want to have to create something that has to be covered up every winter. So the current signs that are along the Riverwalk were covered up every winter to help keep them from degrading over time. These won't have to be covered up. So if you're walking along the Riverwalk in winter, you can still enjoy all the artwork that's there. So again, the 4 areas of the themes will be industries, which covers lumber, salt, sand, and manufacturing. Fisheries, which has all the native species of the Manistee River, changing currents, recreational, and commercial fishing. Maritime will be representative through an installation called Vessels. So you'll see schooners, passenger travel, and modern shipping. And then the indigenous history. So the migration, the settlement, and then the elements of restoring balance. And then each element of Journeys contributes to the narrative of Manistee's evolution. And this work is a natural progress of that. So our first piece is the indigenous and the tribal migration. We will install a full-scale canoe that represents the tribal lands and waterways, as well as the intricate transportation system from the Great Lakes to the rivers and streams for the trade between villages. Next up is vessels. So these are scaled versions of the vessels that you'll see or used to see along the Manistee River and just outside the harbor mouth. These will be placed in the switchback by Municipal Marina. Industry represents the abundant access to natural resources of lumber, sand, and salt, with our placement in the National Forest for our lumber history. And likewise, each of the 7 panels represents the 7 lumber mills that once dotted the Manistee area. And then lastly, and this is my favorite, this is fisheries. Fisheries represents the shoreline location of Manistee and our river channel, and there'll be scale cutouts of every fish that you'll find in the Manistee River. And that will be circled around and placed in on the Riverwalk. And don't worry, we've worked out the details behind sharp edges. We don't expect heads to go through any of these, the sturgeon or anything like that. So the remarkable part about this entire project is it's an extraordinary collaboration of people. So from Manistee Tourism and the design and bringing it forth to West Shore Community College, building an entire curriculum around the welding of each of these pieces. And can you imagine as a young welding student 20 years from now, walking by with your children saying, I built that? So we're excited that this is also a piece that is workforce development. Of course, Alro Steel would not be possible without their generous donation of all the steel. And I can't even tell you how grateful we are, but we've been talking to them about this for about 3 years, ever since we unveiled Origins 3 years ago. And then, of course, the Manistee Historical Museum and the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians, they help us preserve this history, and we hope that this is something that helps with that as well. But we're also working with Spicer and with the City of Manistee's Department of Public Works to ensure structural integrity. We've had all of our drawings looked at by an engineer to ensure that they're safe, that the Riverwalk can withstand this material. We also want to make sure that the installation is safe and that it's also compatible with a Riverwalk environment. We want to make sure that this is sustainable for many, many years to come, and that, above anything, that it's safe. But we're now to a point where we're entering the implementation phase. But this project really started in 2013 when we rolled out our historic sites. We wrote a book paid for by the U.S. Department of Agriculture about the historic sites in Manistee. Manistee County has about 150 national and state historic sites. And if you haven't picked up your copy of the book, it's free. You can get them at any of our kiosk locations and our office, but they are remarkable. They're filled with photographs of what Manistee used to look like, all of Manistee County, and it tells the historical perspective of how Manistee came to be. So it really is a remarkable piece. That was launched. We launched Origins, but Origins felt like it needed something more to continue telling the story, and that's how Journeys came about. But we also wanted to make sure that we're intentional with all of this, and we also didn't want to ask for public funding. So while this has been in the works for a little while, I had an old boss that used to say it takes a lot of time to grind the sausage. It really does. And I wanted to make sure that we had the funding before we came forward with a project of this size and scope. But this project is also very complex. It takes a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings to get together people from the tribe, people from the Historical Museum, Alro Steel, West Shore Community College. They're building an entire curriculum around this. So we're super excited about all of this. And that's it. I'm happy to take some questions, and I appreciate everybody listening today, so thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
When do you plan to start this project?
We have already gotten the engineering drawings back from Spicer. We talked with the Department of Public Works last week. We want to make sure that this doesn't impede the tourism season coming up. I mean, we have to have a really good season this year. So we're looking at phasing in at least some of the pilings that will go into the areas around the Riverwalk as a phased-in approach that will likely start sooner than October. So, but we want it done by next year. We have to be done with our America 250 grant by April. So we anticipate that you'll start seeing some work, though, about October.
How much steel did Alro give us the steel? Or-
They did. Well, they technically are giving the steel to West Shore.
Okay.
I should get the number of pounds. See, I'm the sizzle, Mark. I'm not the steak. I'm the sizzle. So, but I can get that number for you. It's extraordinary.
No, just curious.
We're having that delivered in phases also because the shop at West Shore can't hold it all. So it's a lot of steel though, and they've generously donated all of it.
That's amazing in these times that building costs are skyrocketing and material costs.
Oh yeah.
And then we're getting this, so this is fantastic.
The street value, as it were, is about $110,000 in steel. So Yeah, it's really generous, and we wouldn't be able to do this without them. And I'm not a good salesperson, so to have to go door to door and ask for money to pay for something like this would have been tragic. So I would have given up a long time ago.
You're the sizzle.
I'm the sizzle, I'm not the steak. So,
Well, thank you so much.
thank you. I really appreciate it.
We'd love to have you back again.
I will
and-
keep you updated on
Okay.
everything. And I still have some more commissions to go to. The Neighborhood Restoration and Beautification is on my list, as is the Historic District Commission, because this impacts everybody. And I think it's something that everybody's going to be very proud of when they see it. I mean, we've got a wonderful asset with our Riverwalk. So to be able to enhance it like this, and then also tell people about how great Manistee is. I think that as people who live here, we take for granted a lot of the beauty that is in Manistee. And there's everybody goes through challenges, but I look to our history as something that's so interesting and so intricate into what we do, whether it's from building boats to the work that we did in the lumber industry, the fact that there was this wonderful Polish village at one point, and the last name Lukaskiewicz, you have to love that. So, and then the tribal elements that we have here, and the fact that we are part of an area that has indigenous people is really remarkable, and a wonderful storytelling piece. And tourists love to fall in love with places because they know the history of them. So, anyway, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sammy.
Sammy.
All right, we will go to public hearing. And I will open the public hearing. It is 5:50
I think she kept
on
it.
parcel
Sammy?
number 51-46-75-01, Jackson Street, Plan Unit Development.
Thank you. It's nice to be with you again. I was a few months ago just to show off some ideas that we had with regard to kind of homes that we would like to see developed. Now we own 5 lots on Jackson Street, and our route in getting there, first of all, we did one project. We have been looking to serve our city with regard to the housing crisis for the last, well, since 2020 roughly. In 2022, we were able to engage with Land Bank to do a project in Bear Lake. It was a big house. It was nothing tiny about it, but we rehabbed the house in a marvelous way, so it's essentially brand new. And we had so much invested, we had to sell that at market value, and now that's capital for us rolling into Jackson Street 5. Our board has been able to focus, and we really want to engage a village of tiny homes, and so that's been our focus. When we turned that way, we looked in the county, we looked in various areas of the county. We looked out in Wellston, we looked in Bear Lake, we looked in Onekama. We were looking around for where we could do a village, a number of homes together. And so I remembered that a friend had spoken to me once saying, we have 5 lots that you could make an offer on. So the day that we made the offer was the same day that he was going to list it. And so it was a good provision to us. And so we went ahead and purchased those 5 lots on Jackson Street. We're a faith-based nonprofit. We hear a lot in communications that we'd like to see nonprofits show up and help in the housing market. And we hear sometimes we'd like to see faith-based people show up and be involved in the housing market. So here we are, we're one of those, and really feel led by God to engage in helping our city's needs. 2 of us from our board were able to attend a meeting on Manistee County needs. Carmen Cott and Andrew were involved in this publication for developers to meet together. And from it, I pulled off stats with regard to what our needs are, and some of those will show up in the next few slides. First couple of slides I'd like to show have to do with the needs that we have. See if I can hit the right button for us here.
Down,
That would not be it.
the down one. There you go.
You. So from that publication, we read that community needs are, especially for workforce housing, and it must be affordable for young workforce housing is the point. Businesses and industry are having a hard time recruiting people who will come and stay here as opposed to going to GR for work because they can't find housing, and it has to be affordable as well. So there's a scarcity, and what we need is new houses. We need a lot of new houses, and just for that a demographic of workforce housing, 81 to 120% AMI, we need a big 772 houses, like right now. So affordable housing for young workforce is a greatest need that we're taking a look at. And prices are listed for those that the houses need to be between 200,000 and 300,000 for 81% to 120% respectively. And Tiny hopes to sell for less than those amounts. We can probably hit 80% AMI with a one-bed duplex and a two-bed, one-car single for 120% AMI. So those are the two models that we really started looking at, and we've done spreadsheets on those, and we're confident that we can build those under the prices there that are needed for that AMI. So we're excited to try to engage that. Second thing is we need for seniors, and that's a second priority. For seniors, they need to be accessible. And obviously older housing in the city, we see Habitat for Humanity building a lot of ramps for us and others engaged in that. We appreciate that, but a lot of houses aren't really accessible. And a lot of apartments are upstairs and so forth. So to have accessible homes for seniors, and all the homes that we're building, we need to provide for seniors, and so we want to make that happen. Adaptable for disabilities, that's some pretty high numbers of our seniors who have disabilities, and so those facilities should be wheelchair adaptable, ready to easily convert. So all of your approaches, your hallways, your bathroom, your door placements and so forth have to be ready to handle a wheelchair coming through. By the way, you see a gold star there. Yes, I'm giving ourselves a gold star because I believe we can do well on these things for the needs that we have. I'm pretty excited about that. So those are three big needs. And that's where we start. Tiny Developers has no overhead. We have a board of volunteers. We don't have to build anything. We don't have to do anything. But our hearts are to do this for our city, for our people. And it's a big task, and we want to be a part of it. There are a lot of activities going on right now for rentals for people, and those are very greatly needed. But this is a hard market to tackle, to be able to build for 80% AMI, something that you can purchase. We're only interested in the for sale market. We don't want to own or lease. We just want to build and provide for people the houses that are needed for sale homes. That's a huge number. And we believe we can meet those, not the big number of 700 and so many homes, but we can build for that 80% AMI and that 120% AMI for home ownership. So we're excited to engage those things on behalf of our city. So we're after a PUD. As I said, we want to build in a village. And so PUD offers some flexibility whereby we can build affordably and accessible and for disabilities. And so a PUD has land use requirements, and so there should be a variety in what's used there. And so we want to build both single and duplex homes. A common area is required at 20% of the land. Educational, that common space we'd like to use for native plantings, and work in conjunction with Manistee Conservation Department. And we have friends that have been involved in some of that in the city that would be a help to us. And we'd like to see something there that's educational, something that's show-worthy, both in terms of a park with regard to 4 of the properties and a single home that's set separately within the PUD as to what can be done in a home. And so we'd like to use those for education and not only for residents in the PUD, but for the community, and to draw attention to those things. And then business, these will become model homes for us that we can show and work on sales from that. And so we've got 3 varieties there. We have a 4th that we might try elsewhere in the city. But even after they're built, we can work within the PUD to say we'd like to buy an afternoon in your home for people to come in and see and understand what tiny feels like and looks like. I've had many people say if we could only see it, we'd like to see a sample, we'd like to see a model. When I was with Manistee Township, they said, well, where can we go see a model? And for me, a floor print is enough, but for some it's not. They want to walk in, they want to feel the whole thing. And so to have model homes is very important. For us to have that right locally, yeah, you can go somewhere and see that, but many will not and won't pursue it. So we'd like to have that opportunity real local for people to begin to see what can be done for our housing market. So a PUD and land use requirement. There are other requirements that come simply out of our ordinances. And while the Planning Commission can flex on some of these, we want to be as close as possible. And so I want you to see how respectful we're trying to be of requirements of our ordinances. The first is the minimum square feet at 960 square feet. When we look at statistics, what we find is that nobody in the 80% to 120% AMI can purchase what it would cost to build a 960 square foot home. Maybe at 120%, I'm sorry, but certainly not at 80%. And so we look at those stats and they say, no, they have to rent. Well, that's a bit exclusive, and we don't think that that's the case. We know that we can hit at 80% AMI, 90%, and 100%, and 110%. These are folks that would like to own property so that they can gain equity, gain something to pass down to the younger generations, and then rents just, you can't control those. Those go up, and those are difficult. And so we want to provide that home ownership, but 960 square feet won't allow us to do anything affordable for the target group. And so we want to respect that 960 square feet and say, we'd like to give you a 960 plus building. And so the 2 models that we have, A and B, one is for 1,024 square foot. It's a 2-bed single home. But within that, there's only 724 square feet, plus a 1-car stall garage. So it'll look like every other house on the block, but it'll be a smaller living space, which is important. Not everybody wants to build big living space, but more significantly, they don't want to pay for it. And so they don't want to pay construction costs, and they can't mortgage that. They can't get into it for home ownership. So we'd like, and I think we'd all like to provide for those folks. So at 120% AMI, we can provide that smaller living space, but within a big house that meets our requirement, sort of. And then the duplex, we can provide a same big duplex, but within that we can split it into a smaller footprint for 500-ish square feet on each side. That's rather comparable to our old housing. Where does workforce go right now? They rent old houses that have been divided into duplexes. And they are not accessible, usually. They're not, well, you can't buy the whole house, you can't buy the apartment, you're forced to rent. So right now, our workforce is renting in divided houses. Just, this would be a new divided house, giving them the same opportunity. So we need more of those, but not more of the old. Obviously, we need a lot of new housing. So that would provide for workforce housing at the 80% AMI, 80, 90, 100% AMI, in a way that's modern, clean, doesn't need repair. I've been in many old homes where workforce housing is being used, and they're really subpar housing. So this is how we could do it better. This is how we can become affordable and desirable, because a lot of people want tiny. That's a whole nother avenue of thinking. Tiny's popular for people that want tiny. They don't want a lot of stuff, a lot of things to care for, things in the attic, things all over the place. They'd like to have less things, easier to clean, easier to maintain, and I can go on vacation. I can study, I can go travel abroad. I have time for other things in my life. And so the interest and love of tiny is something to be considered as well. The second ordinance that we're concerned about is density. And so it's based upon 80 units per acre. And for the size of property that we have, at 6.6 for 0.8 of an acre. And so on that, what I'd like us to think about is we talk about units, housing units. And I'd like to show that that's equal really to a duplex. One unit equals one duplex, or half unit, right? We're talking the same size. We're talking the same footprint. We're talking the same looking unit on a lot. And so what's the difference between having a one-family unit or a two-family unit on the same size spot? The density is no greater. The 960 square foot, that's a typical size for a two-bedroom. So what does it matter if you have two bedrooms in one house, or if you've got a party wall and you've got one on one side of the duplex, one on the other side? What's the difference in terms of density? It's the same number of people, it's the same tax base, it's the same everything as the unit. I understand we have legal terms and the use of them, but I want to show the great similarity between a single unit and a duplex that looks exactly the same. So a tiny home would look the same as its neighbor with the same square footage, or the minimum square footage is 960. On the same 60-foot lot, that's what our neighbors are like on Jackson Street. So I call it a comparable density. I think we're there. If we insist on using the terms that's in the ordinance, okay, we're above that. We're 11 units instead of 8, instead of 6.6. Another point of our ordinance is the need for an 80-foot wide duplex lot. That's true for a large home, 960 by 960. Well, you probably need it to be a wider lot. And that's what we've chosen to have in our ordinance. That makes perfect sense to me. But when you get talking smaller, like a smaller building, a smaller lot duplex is very easy to do, and it's proportionally looks as good. So Tiny's design is for the duplex on a 60-foot lot, and it's proportionate to what the bigger duplex would be on a 80-foot lot. So again, we're trying to compare with those things and see how we do. As I've said, we also want a pocket neighborhood, a PUD, or a village. A pocket neighborhood is not as big as a big condominium. It's not as big as a village per se of 20 or 30 homes. But a pocket neighborhood is simply where you can create a lot of unity, a lot of community. And so you work with connected backyards, and here are some of the features. You're after close homes and close friends. It's kind of the old European neighborhood where you know everybody and you borrow the cup of sugar from the neighbor next door and that kind of thing. So pocket neighborhoods have a uniting factor. Part of it is simply the vibe or the celebration of tiny. Tiny homes scattered may not feel so welcome in their neighborhoods because they're in neighborhoods where people like big. But together, woo, hey, this is us. We appreciate tiny, and so we have that bit of a unity over what we're doing. Second, adjacent backyards is a safe place for kids to play or adults to gather. Third, there's commons area, and that can be used, and front porches used for sociability, where people are getting to know one another, enjoying one another in a community. Number four, the native planting area is an ongoing project. It can be continually worked on to bring people together or to sit among the plants there and enjoy that being together. And then an HOA for planning and for providing service opportunities where we learn to work together and do for one another. Somebody in that development might need a ride to medical appointments, and someone else might need help with, could you watch my kid while I go out and do a chore, those kind of things. So the planning and an HOA can help that cooperative community to come to life. The Jackson Street 5 lots are an excellent location for these reasons. We have the connectedness for a pocket neighborhood. We have ideal land to be repurposed for housing. It's idle right now. Let's get housing in there. It's maybe a bit difficult in that it doesn't have sewer yet, and so we need to bring sewer into those lots. Third, it's near to the jobs, both in the industrial park and also for other city work. It's a walkable neighborhood and it's also available, dial-a-ride is available. It's easy for public viewing and education. We want people to see what tiny looks like or to come on in and experience that, or for education and native plantings. Fitting in with the neighbors is really important. And in the neighborhood, home ownership would be highly valued because that gives a lot of stability in a neighborhood. People aren't going to be in and out so much, moving every few weeks or months. The HOA adds standards and controls. You don't have to count on the police force. You have a step before that. Not only love for your neighbor and approaching them, but the HOA will step in also if there is need to do so. Social front porches and private backyards, that's a nice way to live in a neighborhood. Neighborhood homes are roughly the same size as what we're talking about for the purpose of workforce housing. So we're talking a little over 1,000 square feet, and that's what a lot of those homes are. I've got photos, I've been on Zillow and checked that out. There are similarly priced homes on Jackson Street. The north side, that's the average price by Zillow on the north side, and on the south side. And respectively, that's approximately what we're after for 80% or 120% AMI. And these will be new houses. And so if anything, the neighborhood gets upgraded a bit with the same pricing. The North Commons, so the north 25 feet of each property. You've got the backyard and then you've got the commons with some access to that. Native species as a demonstration park and something to enjoy using. Organic gardenings, let's keep poisons out of our ground and let's rest and play and socialize there and have a good time like that. It's socially engaging to have service projects, and so you keep an HOA really low by having so many hours, maybe you work 5 hours a month somewhere on the property to help in one way or another. And so HOA fees can be drastically reduced. Land owned by each homeowner with regard to the commons, but also it's a legal easement. And so while you own it and you maintain it, if that's mowing or whatever, its use is controlled by the HOA and carefully governed so that everybody's in agreement. That's how we'd like to use that. Basically for the native plantings and for just socializing, maybe a bench, maybe a swing, something like that. That's what some of the houses look like. On the left is the 2-bedroom, 1 car. In the middle is a side-by-side duplex. It's got a front door, also has a side door for private family entry, public on the front where you can sit together and talk with the neighbor or talk with somebody on the street, but a side door where you can park. Your driver will come up next to that and you can have a private entrance to your home. On the far right is a stacked duplex. And this is sort of something we could do on a narrow lot, other places in the city, on a 30-foot lot in the city. That would fit EE, the economy efficiency sort of a lot, but we want to show it off here and use it here because we want that particular lot to be a little narrower in order to have an approachway going back to the easement behind. So that's what some of the homes would look like. So that's what I have for you tonight, and happy to have your interaction. Thank you so much for all that you do for housing. It's a great celebration.
Thank you for the presentation. Any questions for George? Okay.
Well, I was just wondering what kind of HOA, you said that you know, the HOA fees, I understand you correctly that maybe some of those fees would be lessened if you put more work into the property? Is that what you're thinking of?
I'm sorry, I'm bumping up my hearing aids.
Okay.
There we go. Now you're loud and clear. What was the point about the HOA fee?
I wondered if you had any idea how much the HOA fees would be, and also, did I understand you correctly that if you put some workforce into it, the HOA fees would be less?
Yeah, our hope is to be almost zero.
Okay.
But obviously there's some legal fee, a touch to maintain the commons area. Yeah, just as little as possible.
Okay.
If it could be zero, that would be ideal, but it probably needs something. For example, a lot of places that do that HOA fee on a small scale or try to minimize it, they say if you can't work, whatever, 15 hours a month, 5 hours a month, you have to pay the equivalent for a worker to come do something, because it can't be undone. So whatever has to be done within a certain number of hours, if you cannot do it or choose not to do it, You simply pay that $100 for that 5 hours that month. That sort of thing, yeah.
Who would be writing the bylaws?
I'm sorry.
Who would be authoring the bylaws for the HOA?
First of all, that'll be done with a legal consultation. With regard to the bylaws, yeah, that'll be a legal document. Then what are the features of that? What do we want to allow and disallow and so forth? Initially, the HOA is tiny developers because we own the property. And we will own the commons area. And so we have 11 housing units, and so as each one comes in, we would give up 11% of the HOA ownership until it's fully owned by the HOA. But all that's a legal document that will get written.
Thank you.
Marlene?
Nothing.
Nothing. Who's going to run the HOA?
The HOA at this point, like I said, is tiny developers.
Okay.
It's our board of directors. We have 7 on the board of directors. And that we'll still, until we sell half the houses, we'll have half the control of that and gradually turn it over and be training people along the way how to live in an HOA. So it'll shift to the 11 homeowners, not 2 people per house or 3 per house, but 1 per house. And at a point, if that gets too large, they can go to a representative kind of a unit. But I think 11 is probably doable in an HOA. Interestingly, as a pre-sale, we intend to require 3 classes to be attended before you can apply to join this HOA. And they would have to do with how to live in an HOA. And so you're talking about initially people, how we get along with people. And so you have a meeting and you spend an hour together and you're discussing relationships and you're letting people try out what they like, what they don't like. You're listening and you're training people of how we deal together in a community that we want to build. Secondly, you talk about participation, like how we assist one another, help one another, address one another, how we work within an HOA, what the HOA wants to accomplish, and how to go about that. So that's participation. And thirdly, you want to work at the policies to nail down what are the quiet hours and how do we adjust those and what do we do about pets and all the detail. So people would have been through several hours of interacting on these things. And all of that will teach them how to live in an HOA where there's got to be a consensus. And so we want to train that body before that even happens. Then they can apply for their mortgage or, we'll have a waiting list, if you will. And then they can apply and become a part of the HOA as they purchase a home.
Do you have a waiting list now for
No, we
for
do
these
not.
homes?
No. We won't until we have a house, sort of.
So which brings me to the next question is, you mentioned a model. So you're going to have one model or are you going to build out a couple different?
These 3 models will be with 3 of the 5 homes. We're looking at one with a 2-car in the garage. We're looking at 3 that are side-by-side duplex. We're looking at one that's a stacked duplex. So that will be the 5 lots. Those 3 different designs, but on 5 lots.
So on Jackson Street, you'll have three models?
Yes. Thank
And
you.
those would stay models until they're all sold?
I'm sorry, what?
And they would remain models until they're all sold?
Yeah, oh, yes. Well, hopefully they'll sell as fast as we finish them. It'll take a while for us to start because of the need for the sewer. So we're going to be dependent upon engineers to get that done. And when that's done, we'll get one done in the first year and at least 2 the next year and 2 the next year. Hopefully a lot faster than that. Because you can build most affordably when you build fast. So if you can set the footings in one lot, and as soon as they firm up, move those same footings to the next lot. That's ideal. So I would envision that when we form these classes before sales, that we would have about 11 families in there, and that might fill the first number of houses. But at any rate, you have to have those classes within the year that you're going to purchase. And so there might be a need to renew that, get retrained, get refocused. People really decide if they want to live in tiny and if they want to live in a community and live with an HOA. So, and we want them trained. We want a good, solid HOA when we get to that point.
And Tiny does not want to own these homes, correct?
Right. We don't want to manage homes. We want to sell them.
And you don't want to rent,
We
and,
do not want to rent.
okay, and there will not be any type of short-term rentals?
No.
In
Oh,
this?
no, no.
And that's going to be built in the HOA?
Yes.
Okay.
Mark, I want to ask,
Go ahead.
do you have a developer already lined up?
We
If this
do.
is accepted?
Yes, we do. Lakeshore Construction. They worked with us in Bear Lake. They do very big projects across the country. I think they're in 40 states. They have local teams. They have two project managers that handle all their local construction. They do very fine home building. And yet they're committed to this and to tiny and to keeping costs really down. Some of our board members have expertise in building, and so we'll do a bit of supervision, we'll do a bit of comptroller work, and so that will keep the management price down of a general contractor. We already have that agreement with Lakeshore Construction.
I do like, and I shouldn't speak for everyone, but in the past, we've tried to create walkability and front porch neighborhoods. And I like what I heard so far. And maybe we all have. We're trying to work towards this goal for the city, to get back to what it once was, where everybody helped out everyone. So, and then the last one, we haven't got there yet, but there was a letter, a couple of different things. There was a letter that came in about the property itself being a dump for sawdust. So, have you done any type of borings in that area
Yeah.
to see what you're up against for your footings?
That's been all done. We've heard the stories, we've heard it even from the DPW, when they've dug there and put in a street there, and we've done all the formal diggings, and the property's ready to go. It's ready to support our homes.
Okay, so
There's no problem.
no sawdust in that area, is there?
I believe there is, but it's way, way down, and it's as solid as concrete blocks.
Okay, so be a good question for Bob. What do you think?
I'd like to see the soil work.
Okay.
Because that brings a lot into it, because it may be good at the top, and they say but what's the thicknesses, what's the material type? That all comes into play a lot,
It's all been tested and approved to go.
but I'd still like to see the boring data. The
Oh,
soil boring
okay.
data. I deal with that a lot, so.
Okay,
It,
I'll see if I can get that to Matty right away.
yeah, because that always makes me wonder on some things like
Yeah.
other structures I've seen go around. I've seen footings getting put in, and 3 or 4 years later, it's sinking.
Yes.
And
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'd like to see what that plans for the foundations and what the soil types are.
Okay, I'll see if I can get that to Matty's office. Is that all right?
Okay.
And Georgia, there was one other letter that probably came in early in this whole process that somebody approached neighbors that this would be for the homeless.
Oh. I don't think they can come up with those prices.
So what you're saying is no.
Oh, no, it's for workforce housing. And you'd have to prove that you've had a year of employment, solid employment, or promise thereof from a really reputable company.
Okay.
You'll have to have a mortgage for these amounts. So, no, it's not for homeless at all.
Okay. All right.
We wish we could do something down the road, but that's not what Tiny Developers is doing.
Trying to hit all the marks here, so I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's for sale home.
All right. I think that's my questions. Anyone else? Pam?
No, I was just counting up how many curb cuts you'd have to put in there in that area. Am I counting correctly? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
Oh, well, 3 would be double wide and 3 would be singles.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. All right, thank you.
Curb over there?
Yeah.
There
Is
is.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is.
When they rebuilt the road, they put the curbing in.
Okay. All
The
right.
curb
Thank you
and
for that.
sidewalk,
Yeah.
yes.
Now,
I know there's
you
sidewalk, but
understand,
I-
you get the sidewalks
Yeah,
are
I
going to
drove
be
by
reinforced at the
Okay.
curb, at the drives. The sidewalks have to be reinforced where the driveways are going through. The typical sidewalk that's there will not support vehicle traffic a lot.
Okay.
You'll have to reinforce those sidewalks where the vehicle driveways are.
Excellent, thank you.
Pam? Shelley?
No, I asked.
Marlene? Okay. Well, we thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Answering the questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So now we will open it up to public comment. So anybody has anything to say, comment, please approach the podium. You have up to 5 minutes, and there is no interaction between the audience and the speaker.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me here. Really do.
And name and address also.
My name's Pete Boudreau. I live on the 195 Jackson Street, the corner of Jackson and Washington, which butts up to the property. They're going to build those tiny homes / condos or whatever you want to call them, because we don't know, because there's nothing in force. But before passing this zoning amendment, please look at the language. Most of it pertains to condominiums with an HOA. We live in a city. Why do we need an HOA when we have a city? We have city taxes, city trash. Why do we need HOA on a 3-lot property in Manistee? And most of it pertains to condominiums, HOA. Actually, that is. How does the language of that orders pertain to tiny houses? No. Mr. Butler talks about affordable housing, but homes costing at $250,000 is not affordable housing for young people starting out, or an elderly person on Social Security. My mom, that's why I moved down here. My mom passed away last April. That's why I moved down to Manistee from Traverse City. And I fell in love with Manistee. It reminded me of old school Traverse City. That's why I came down here. I work up there every day. I drive every day, but I still love Manistee. I love the personality, love the place. But then break it down, a $250,000 house, taxes yearly, insurance, utilities, mortgage payment, and an HOA fee. How is that affordable housing? It's just, doesn't make sense to me. I can throw a bunch of numbers like he did and just confuse us all, because that's what it does. There's a lot of pages in this ordinance talking about pockets and neighborhoods and having an HOA that controls a lot of things. These lots in Jackson's are not large enough to create an HOA. Sorry, I'm getting a little, he talks about the planning backyards. Beautiful. Yes, we have probably the biggest corner on that lot, on that street. No, not if you put 4 or 5 houses. They're going to be high-fiving out the windows on the side of the house. That's what they're going to be doing. So, and picnic area, yeah. But my main thing is they're just going to start throwing people in there. They don't know. Like HOA, as soon as they sell it, they're gone. So who's going to control this HOA? The main thing is, why is there need to be an HOA? Why can't there be single lots sold there, according to the city ordinance, what it should always be? And also, another thing too is, he also said, we don't have any tiny homes in Manistee, right? Well, Jax isn't zoned for commercial. pretty much what he said, this is gonna be his commercial selling spot for his company, which I do not agree with. So we're gonna have people come checking us, more traffic that shouldn't be down there on that little simple street from Jackson to 31. No, shouldn't be there. We already had it for the month and a half, or the year and a half of the bridge being closed. Yeah. So who benefits from the practice? Maybe Detroit, maybe. Certainly not Manistee. Where did this come from? Something to consider before making a change that only benefits the seller or the builder or the developer. That's the thing we're worried about, is what's going on up here. We live there, I moved down here, I don't wanna move, and I don't wanna have tiny home / condo / trailer park right next to our house, because it's gonna lower our value. That's why we moved down here. We mow our lawn, we built fence, I got brick patio. We work our butt to maintain our property, and we just don't want all this just get dumped right next to our property. That's where the main thing is. And who lives there? We don't know. We have kids there that come there, our niece, nephews, my sister's daughters, son, we don't know. So there's just a lot of open area on what he's saying that no one knows. HOA, I think that's the downfall right there. Why? What he's saying is, I'm starting a cult inside of downtown Manistee. That's what he's saying. Why? I mean, we elected all you guys on here, so let's keep it that way. Let you guys make decisions, not a industry inside of another industry. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yep.
My name is Andrew Stafford. I'm the Director of Economic Development with the Manistee Area Chamber of Commerce. My address is 275 First Street. I just wanted to express support for this project as it relates to housing within the county overall. As George alluded to, there is a housing crisis within Manistee County, and it's not necessarily a discussion about volume. It comes down to quality and affordability. And I'm somebody who's early in my career, in the price point that George was talking about to 80 to 120 is true workforce housing. And these aren't people who are, voucher rate. This is firefighters, these are teachers. Those are the type of salaries that fall within that income range. And so I just wanted to voice my support for this project, especially in light of the lack of affordable quality housing. I think that's critical, because you can go on Zillow today and find listings that are in the $200,000 range, but the amount of equity it takes to not only acquire those homes, but then also get them to a point in which they're a livable environment is not attainable for those who are early in their career. So just wanted to voice my support for the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Randy Papera. I live at 221 Washington Street. And my biggest thing, I guess, with this is, and just going by what he just said, affordable housing and everything. Why can't they just build a house on each lot like normal people? It seems like the people that they're going to try to get in there, they all have to know the words to Kumbaya or what, I mean, does anybody know how people are in this room? You're going to pack 8, maybe 10, maybe 12 people in 240 feet. And they're all supposed to be in this like commune where everything's hunky-dory and everybody had the beautiful day and we're going to go roast marshmallows in the backyard. That's what he's saying without saying it. That's why I was going to ask you guys if you read this narrative, pocket neighborhood, neighbor nearness and the argument for need of housing is legitimate, and I agree with that. And he's got 5 lots sitting there that could be built for small. He could build some small homes there and provide that for people. Why not just have 5 homes? And I'm also concerned about the long-term impact this is going to have on the neighborhood. If they put 5 homes there, it would enhance the neighborhood. Instead, they're going to pile all these people in it, and if they don't think there's going to be problems with that, then they've never lived much of a life out in the world. I've seen a lot of people online that supported it, wrote letters to you guys and supported it, and not one of them live on that street. They can say, oh, this is a great idea, you guys, let's do it. but they don't live there. They're not gonna have to deal with it. Also, I'm gonna go right back to that property. And I'm wondering if the commission would talk to Halleck Construction and find out how many yards of that sawdust they took out of Jackson Street. Because I lived there and I watched it. That hole was 20, 30 feet deep. You couldn't see the front end loader when he was going in it. And he was just bitching about, because he didn't know, they bid that job and they didn't know that was gonna happen. And I talked to the foreman and everything at the time when he was working on Quincy Street. So when they came and did that bore sample, they bored where all the highest spots in the field are. And I don't know about you guys, but common sense is wherever the sagging is where the most problem is. And it's sagging everywhere except where they drilled. So I have a problem with that. Have you guys seen the results of this boring test? Oh, or you can't answer my question? No. All right, well, it's just common sense.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. I'm the elder here. I lived on the north side for 82 years.
Sir, could we get your name and address?
Name, sir.
Pardon?
Who are you, sir?
Just name and address.
My name is Thomas Opolka. I live on Van Buren Street
Thank you.
and raised on, I started on Monroe Street. And I retired from Martin Salt as the county manager. Like I said, I have lived here all my life. I have a cabin out in 9 Mile Bridge with 1,000 square feet in my cabin, with 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and a living room and a kitchen. I don't see how a family can raise a family in a 1-bedroom duplex of 1,000 square feet. So, and then he has this duplex, and he's talking people with wheelchairs and everything. How do you get up on the upstairs? Are they going to have an elevator inside them? I would be more interested in seeing. I'm not against growth and families moving into Manistee, but I am against trading asphalt and concrete for trees and flowers and grass. It would be nice to see single-family homes like fit in the neighborhood. I mean, you don't see a duplex sitting in the middle of Jackson Street anymore, or any place. I mean, look at the whole north side. The only places that you see anything big is out in Harbor Village and out on 6th Avenue. I mean, it's just common sense that those places will be so close together. You better watch your breakfast, what the neighbors are having for breakfast, or don't put windows on that side of your house. Same thing you have on down on First Street. If you look there, you can be watering your grass and you're watering your neighbor's grass at the same time. Do we want that on Jackson Street? I mean, let's think this thing over. Maybe 3 units, 3 nice-sized homes, maybe 1,500 square feet or something, but not 5. I mean, that's just, it's going to be too crowded. I mean, these people won't have any privacy. And they talk about having a yard and everything. Good luck on that.
Thank you.
There will be public comment on agenda-related items.
Hello, my name is Chris Rosinski. I live at 1703 Maple Road, but we also own Lot 12 in between the project that we're talking about tonight, with the adjacent property on 185 Monroe Street, the house. My concern is mostly about storage. We're talking about cramming these, say, 8 different families into a lot, a couple lots that should really only have maybe 2 houses. These duplexes have no basements, no garages, and there's nothing in the plans for storage. Where do people put their stuff? I guess without sufficient storage, there's a risk of outdoor clutter that can accumulate outside, and which eventually would turn into, I guess we call it blight. I know that's a bad word around here, but that's my fear. Nobody in the neighborhood wants to look at that. So that's it.
Thank you.
I'm Russell Rosinski, that's wife. I live 1703 Maple, and we are the owners of 185 Monroe and the lot that sits right in the midst of this project. Everything that's been said I agree with, and it's been said well by Pete, Randy, and my wife. I'm gonna come at it from a different point. If you want to improve housing in Manistee, how many homes do we have sitting empty, just wasting away? You ride around this town, and I'll tell you what, I've done it. 2nd Avenue, I bought the worst house on the street in 2007. And it took us 6 years, but that's a brand new home. That was my goal, and I sold it to a young couple, a truck driver, and they're very happy, and it's a big house. This community should be fixing up the homes that are sitting empty, and there's way too many of them. There's something about the kids getting a house from the parents. They're living downstate, and now here it is sitting empty. I can name at least 2 dozen. And there's homes that need repair. There should be some kind of program. I wish I had it, because I didn't make a profit on the home. When I sold it, and for capital gains, my bookkeeper said, "Stop, you're already in the hole." I said, "I got 20,000 more." But we did it because, we're still married, but we did it to have fun. So I'm coming from a different angle. I appreciate what you're trying to do. It's a noble cause. My wife said blight, housing. I think you're correcting some blight and you're improving some housing. And they're not limited to 500 square feet. They're pretty good sized homes. And they are homes with today's products and technology that make them all wheelchair accessible, handicap accessible. There's a whole industry out there that does that. So that's my comment. I just think we should be looking at this in a different way. I agree with everything they said, and I won't repeat it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine Burwitz, 1100 Cherry Road. I've been a resident of Manistee proudly almost 3 years. And in that time, I have grown to love the city. And what I find as I consider the thought of buying a house, I don't want big. I can't afford it, don't want to heat it, don't want to clean it, don't want to maintain it. I'm a solo woman. Why would I want a huge house? And so as I look through the housing stock in the city, what I see are homes that do not suit. And so therefore I say, you know what, the homes would not suit me. They would not suit people that of my peers that are looking. I'm here because I think tiny is an answer. We don't need 2,000 square feet with a 3-car garage. Under 1,000 square feet, sure. If you came over to my apartment, I don't have a lot of stuff. I don't need that big size. So wherever it is in the county, I need a place that's petite and small so that I can afford other things besides just the house and be a productive community member in Manistee. Really quick, I would share that I was actually asked to leave in a rental this year because the house was turned into a short-term rental. And so the neighbor to me that was also in a similar situation where his lease was going to be up and he was also going to have to move, and he tried to buy the house. I don't know, I'm not sharing his name, but he tried to buy the house and he couldn't So therefore, both of us, who are both workforce housing folks, had to go on and find other housing. And I wish there was more housing options in Manistee for people like me who want petite and affordable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Papera, 221 Washington Street. I do agree with you that there is a shortage of housing, but there are, in Parkdale, they're building those apartments, 144 of them. And then also, I believe Manistee Township, I read in the paper that someone was approaching, they sold that corner lot by the Marathon and they're building homes there. And also the Little River Band EDC is also building homes on Frost Road. With that being said, in the master plan for the city 2026, and you had all those workshops at West Shore Community College, the survey showed more family homes. I don't know, Mr. Butler said, if the duplex is 1 bedroom, how can kids live there? You can't have kids in with their parents' bedroom. And he was saying, you know, social front porches and then private backyards. And I thought it was going to be a common backyard that everybody gathers. But, you know, nowadays, a lot of people like to be private. And if you're the dignity of a small home, you know, that's setting somebody's well-being not good. You know, I mean, it's like claustrophobic. Mr. Whitloff, would you like these homes across the street from your house? You have that big empty lot there. You know, I know you can't answer. And then the other question is where are their stuff going to be? I mean, bikes, you know, or, well, yeah, there are bikes, kayaks, which is fine outside. They normally hang them in their garage. But snow blowers, you know, lawnmowers, all that. You know, we're going to just see all that stuff in the backyard. And then my mother-in-law lives at Green Acres. If you go to Green Acres, 1 bedroom is 430 square foot. Now she just moved to a bigger one, which is 680 square feet. And he's talking about building 500 square foot per home. I don't know if you saw that floor plan, but it's like your kitchen and you're going to turn around, right there's your kitchen table, and then right there's your living room. It's kind of bizarre. So that's all I guess I had to say about all that. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep.
Lainey Ruzga, 1507 Vine Street. A few weeks ago, you know, we passed the ordinance to non-conforming lots. And instead, it seems like instead of using city lots that are non-conforming, which you know, was how it was conveyed, we're taking lots and further dividing them to make them non-conforming. I have no problem with tiny homes. I agree. We need that kind of housing. There are tiny homes all over Manistee. I mean, Hopkins Street, they have garages, they're cute, they're well-maintained, lots of them, and we have duplexes. And if the problem is, it's hard to get duplexes, then fix the ordinance. Don't make these apartment size creations to fit that everybody, I think, will ultimately be unhappy with, because I want you to visualize how those 10 garbage cans, trash bins are going to look sitting in front of those houses. Think about those 4 cars at every duplex. How's that going to look? There might be room for 2 cars, but you know, and I know, there's who doesn't have a 2-car family. So we picture that. How much room is there really going to be in the backyards for all those things he visualizes? This should be tiny homes, just like the one. It wouldn't be bad if he had 1 duplex. I could probably stomach that. But to make them the majority duplexes, that's not where we should be going. It's a bad picture on so many levels. And this is just how I feel. A duplex tiny is not, it's an apartment. It'll be treated like an apartment. Think about that housing on 12th Street, how that is. There's no storage. Think about the housing on Vine Street. There's no storage. And we're gonna make more of it? Is that really what we want? Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wasn't planning on talking. I didn't know you were going to have an opportunity. I'm a little nervous. Tony Hendricks, 152 Jackson Street, my entire lifetime home. I've seen so many changes. I played in that lot. I think native plantings is fabulous. I think your plans are beautiful.
Excuse
And I
me,
think that
Ms. Hendricks?
Yeah.
You want to be talking to us,
Okay.
Thank
Well,
please.
and, but not on that lot. I could see maybe 2 homes, or a single level with handicap accessible, maybe for senior people with the senior center so close by. They don't want to deal with lawns. You could have beautiful landscaping or gardens that they could appreciate. There's not any room for 5 houses on that lot. And I don't know why, if the seller was Olson's or whatever, why aren't they on the other side where the old lumber stackings used to be? And then there's that funny street right off the highway that's only got like 2 houses on it. There'd be room there. I also travel around town and I see the places where there's blight, and I wonder, and I don't know who owns those places, but why aren't they demolished? Why isn't there a helpful city plan to tear those down and build these fabulous tiny homes with a little more space? And some of the ones on the south side of the street are closer to schools, and it is true. You say I've got a 1-car garage. It's never just 1 car. And it's a snowmobile, and it's your homeowner. I want a snowmobile. I want a boat. I want a something. So I really value the plans that I've seen in terms of for the houses. Native planting, yes, my God, we live in a geographically treasured area. I don't think enough people realize that. Where we live doesn't happen everywhere. And respect it. And I'm just saying, I just can't see 5 homes there. I just cannot. And why do you want the traffic? Good Lord. Why do you want to congest that corner? Safety out the door. So I'm sorry. I really respect you. But and I'm not just saying not in my backyard, but I'm kind of saying not in my backyard. The lot just will not sustain it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No further comments? Time is 6:57. We will close this portion of the public hearing on tiny homes and move on to another public hearing on Z26-02, Child Care Zoning Amendments, and we will open it at 7:57.
6:50.
That's 6, yes, thank you. Okay. Maddie?
Yeah. Oh, gonna be less exciting. So this was an amendment that we have discussed a couple of times now. Mike from Networks Northwest came to present at our last meeting. This was in partnership with the Community Foundation as well as the county and the chamber. We actually received a grant from the Community Foundation that covered the public notices, which was really generous and helpful in putting this forward because, as you can see, it's a really big text amendment and the public notice was huge. And so essentially this is allowing daycares, we changed the definition to childcare, tweaked the definition a bit to match what the state says and move with the state language, allowing childcare in every residential district, nearly every district. Sorry, we gotta keep it open.
You gotta have to keep it open.
We have to, sorry, keep it public. I included a chart. I would throw it on the screen, but I'm experiencing some technical difficulties, and Ed will not text me back on how to fix it. But
Which one is it?
it's in. Oh, it's pretty far in there. It's after all the housing. Let me find my copy.
Is it dated April 28th?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
So it would be childcare group permitted by right in every district, childcare family permitted by right in every district. That's where it goes up to the 7 to 12. Childcare center permitted by right in the Peninsula District, C1, C2, C3, light industrial, general industrial, permitted by special use in waterfront, R2 and R3, and then not included in R1. I did not include R4 in the amendment because we do not have an R4 designation on the map. In the case that we add R4 to the map, that will be an amendment in and of itself, and we will tweak the district as needed to match any changes made thus far, but I figured I'll stick to what's on the map right now. So this is the recommendation from Networks Northwest that was tweaked based on the recommendation from McKenna.
Okay. You think we need one in the golf course district?
I meant to remove that. I did. Maybe I was reading my first,
Yeah, because I thought we took that out.
I thought we took it up, yeah.
Took it out too.
I might have it permitted by right still.
Oh, well,
I think it's out of the list. It might still be in my,
uses is out.
in my table. The table isn't the formal list,
All right.
the list of amendments. Golf course is Article 7, I believe, and it was removed.
Okay, all right. Well, Mike, when he came before us last month, he gave a pretty detailed
Yes, I think
presentation.
this is highly recommended from the state. This better aligns with what the state is doing. I think when you get down to it, it technically should be allowed in every residential district. We're not super clear on where the first level is allowed. We define it as a use and we don't actually list it anywhere until you get to the 7 to 12. And so this, I think, just makes it really clear. I did have someone come and inquire about opening a daycare, and I recommended she follow some of this language, and that might make her process easier and fit what the language is moving forward.
Well, that's good to have somebody right away,
Yes?
so, okay.
And I know we had someone in the past discuss opening a childcare and actually did not follow through due to the special use hurdles.
Yep. Okay. Any questions for Maddie? Arlene? No? I don't have any.
Any public comment?
No? We'll get to that, yeah, we'll get to that. So is there any public comment on daycare? Anyone? Okay. And we move to further discussion.
Do you want
discussion?
to close the public hearing?
Oh. Okay. We will close it at 7:04. Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll move along to public comment on agenda-related items. Is there anyone in the audience that has anything? I'll just read this briefly. All comments and handouts from the speaker at the podium will go through the chair. Also, there will not be any interaction between the podium and audience. These rules cannot be followed. The chair can adjourn the meeting. You are limited to 5 minutes. So if there's anyone has further comment on either items of the public hearing, please come up. Name and address, please. None? Okay, move along. New business, parcel number 51-146-75-01, Jackson Street Plan Unit Development. Where are we?
I want to see the soil boring data and structural stuff. I've looked some of the plans over, and a lot of places are only 60-foot wide lots all over the state. And you've got places that have got smaller lots. My line of work, I run into that all the time, and I see structures there. And when they're talking about reaching hands across, what fire codes cause save so much between buildings, so you're not going to have somebody reaching out and touching the neighbor next door. You see it a lot of, if you went with current fire codes, there is a lot of existing houses in the city that violate it because they don't have the clearance. So 60-foot statewide is pretty much a common lot size on a lot of older subdivisions. So I'm still sitting in the air on stuff on it, but I want to see further data on what the soil stuff looks like. I understand we got to put the sewer in, that's a given. Mm-hmm. And the sewer is an enhancement for the area, no matter what we do. The number of families on the site, I worry about a little bit. I'm still thinking it should be single ones. We could put easily five single-family homes in there on those 60-foot lots and still have room. But the duplexes bother me a little bit.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Pam?
I'm with Bob. I'd like to know the core sample data. I kind of agree that 5 might be a little much for that area. I understand the reasoning behind it. And I understand the people who live there. I understand their concerns. I'm going to get on a soapbox a little bit here. The question was raised, well, who's going to be living there? Who's going to be, who's going to be living there? What are they going to be like? You risk that anytime somebody builds a house next to you. You don't know who your neighbors are going to be. It's a toss-up. You get good neighbors, you get bad neighbors. The other thing is, I think we have to realize that there's a generational difference of the way people think about living. Our generation, you want the big house, the big yard, the multiple car garage, and have all your things. My kids don't have that same thought. I've got one who's a minimalist. He wants a very small house, and he still has 2 kids and a 3-bedroom house, but they don't have a lot of stuff. And that collection of stuff is stuff, the next generation coming up, who these houses are meant for, don't really think that way all the time. We need something to get young professional adults a place to live, so they're not kicked out as soon as summer comes around and their place is turned into a summer rental. And George is trying. I don't agree with everything George has planned, but I do think it's a start.
Okay.
And I'm done.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to add, like,
All right.
Pam was talking about minimalist. I downsized to an 850 square foot home. And as a senior now, I'm comfortable. I've got rid of a lot of the overhead stuff I've had.
But you're not young,
And,
the family.
and, like I said, I'm at 850 and I'm comfortable.
I kind of look at these houses as being like starter houses. You're either going to want to stay small. I also have a sister-in-law who lives in a very small condo. It's not much bigger than what George is talking about. By the time you get those 2 or 3 kids, you're going to be moving on out to a bigger house anyway. Nobody says this is going to be a permanent fix for people with families. George is targeting these toward young professionals who are starting out but want to build up some equity. And the other thing is, a lot of kids that are coming up now, they don't care about that equity so much. You know, if it's a small house, they're happy with it.
Okay, thank you. Shelley?
I'll leave the soil borings to Bob. That's not my area of expertise, but I've lived all over the United States. I work for an organization that has an extremely difficult time recruiting and offering positions, well-paying positions, to people because of the lack of housing. First home I bought was a townhouse. It was just under 500 square feet, 2 bedrooms with a garage. I lived there with my youngest son, comfortably. The second house I bought was 700 square feet with a 1-car garage, 2 bedroom. People live where they want to live. They buy what they want to buy. I've lived in very large cities where I've seen people live in 260 square feet. You don't always get to choose your neighbors. So anyone who is in the market for something like this, I think is an excellent opportunity. I love the business plan. I think it was Pam that said it. I am not a fan of HOAs. I think in the city limit, and it was one of the people that spoke, and I don't know if this is under our purview, but we have a plethora of city ordinances. We have all of the regulations that go along with living within the city limits. I understand the idea of having like-minded people. I've seen some nightmare stories with HOAs. I've seen some good ones, but that may or may not be for us to put into the notes. So from a planning standpoint, I like the development. I have no issue at all with the sizes, with the lot size, with where people are going to put their cars. We have a number of storage unit places all around town. People will figure that out. And we have the regulations to take care of it if they don't. So this is something I firmly support. We've gotten a lot of support for it. But there are a few things that I have reservations about, and HOAs are one of them.
Marlene?
Yeah, I like the idea of the homes, but I think it's too much on 2 smaller lots. And if you he talks about putting seniors in and family with kids, and you're all on top of one another, no matter how much you like kids and you're old, with kids out playing and screaming and running around and stuff. And who's gonna pay, because that's an old neighborhood, that'll all have to be more sewers put in there, because you have to have, for each home, more sewage, because there's probably none in part of that district. And who's gonna pay for that? The city?
That would be the developer.
Developer? But you gotta add all that into it, and as desperate as we need housing, I just can't see that many. If they cut it down to 3 or 4 maybe even, but it's just too much for that size of lot.
Okay. We've heard some excellent comments from the developer, from the audience, from the commission. My first home was 700 square feet. I was very comfortable till I moved. The soil boring, concerns me with the sawdust. Like Bob said, he brought up some real good points. What's underneath? What can happen in 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 years? Who knows? That is a concern for me. So with this, I would like to table this till we see the boring, and maybe Bob, you can head that up.
Yeah, I'll give that for me, and I can do a little more checking on stuff, and I got people I can talk to on stuff on that, and
You're the best man for the job.
Other people in the field that understand this stuff.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the stuff they'll tell you to be here on over you, but I don't understand it.
Right.
Because I deal with it a lot, so, and then I can take and get it for the commission to understand it.
So I would ask the commission to make a motion to table till next month. Not saying that we're not going to go forward with this, but we just need more information. I hope you understand. So, and then Bob will head this up and get with Maddie, and then come back to the commission.
Can I add something really quick?
Sure.
So for the HOA, George is really focused on for sale between the duplexes. And so that was something that we talked about a lot, that the city doesn't have a good option to split a parcel or to separately allocate a building to two different individuals on the same lot. And so we were looking for, I think tiny developers wants to have as little oversight long-term as possible. And so if there is a better idea or a solution to that, I think that George would probably be open to discussion with that. But I talked with Molly and Jerry, and I don't really know a way where it could be not rentals and it's strictly ownership, but without some sort of organizing body overseeing that between the units that are.
I think if you put restrictive covenants in the sale,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't really actually need it as much of an HOA, because the covenants would be written right into your deed.
And the HOA, correct me if I'm wrong, is essentially eventually covering the service and maintenance of the lot at large, all the common areas, cutting the grass, shoveling snow, driveway upkeep, that kind of thing. Because if it's a shared driveway, which owner, if it's a duplex, is responsible for it? Are those the
I think
things?
it's,
That depends on how the HOA is written.
I think is it 2 driveways, George?
HOAs to cover roof,
They cover the outside of the building.
Renting.
They cover the outside of the building.
George, could you come up to the podium, please?
They do, but if they're individual sales, yeah, if you have a duplex and they need to reside it, who pays for
I
that?
have a problem with the duplex too.
Yeah, I did too.
Each duplex has a sideways, so a single house with 2 units, there's a sideway for, a driveway for each unit. And it could be as much as 2 cars deep. But we would design it with 1, and if you want to go farther and park another, you could, but
So it's not front to back, it's side by side.
side by side, yes.
Okay.
So you've got 1 curb cut, but you've got 2 driveways side by side.
Oh, that's not-
And you've got the required space in between, 3 foot on each property to the sidewalk.
We're going through that.
With regard to HOA, my understanding, and I guess that can go different ways, the only concern was how do you cover the responsibility of a commons? And I thought that's the way, but if you can simply have a statement within the sale of the home restriction, that's fine, but I thought there had to be control to make sure it was maintained. So I'll take any kind of coaching on that.
Yeah, a lot of times with covenants, if it's in a mortgage, the mortgage company will make sure that's enforced, because that's part of the commitment you have on the mortgage to uphold what they loaned you the money for.
Yeah, so it would be maintained, and so it's owned by the homeowner.
Right.
The commons is, but the easement, how do we set apart an easement? You can do that within the deed?
Yes.
Okay. So I think we can flush the HOA then. Yeah, I just needed some guidance on that. I don't have the legal work done on these things yet.
I think we could reword a condition.
You go to more of covenants than an HOA.
Yeah,
Covenants-
just legal counsel on, and then set what you're looking for to be covered. Would be appropriate.
With regard to storage, I'd make another comment too. We would look for the homeowners to help make a decision on that. Some people just don't want stuff to store. Or maybe on the commons, we want a larger garage for common use of stuff that would replace that. Or maybe on the division line between a duplex, you would have in the back a shed that would serve both, a single shed, so it wouldn't be cluttered. So we're open to whatever there, but I thought we'd wait and see how homeowners develop what they want for storage or not. So that was my thought, but we could be definitive on that if you think it's wise.
All right. Thank you, George.
We're ready for coaching anytime. Thank you.
So, getting back to, I'll ask for a motion to table until we have some information on the soil borings.
I'll make that motion.
Okay?
I'll second.
So we have a motion to table till
Next month?
next month for Bob to get, for George to get the samples in, so Bob can disseminate those and get back to us. So, I have a motion by Bob, second by Pam. Any further discussion? None, please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Membertu,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
and Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Not saying it's not gonna go, we just need more information, that's all. So, thank you. And then, next, old business, Z 26-01, childcare zoning amendments. Ask for a motion.
Should be 02.
02?
Yeah, sorry. It says 02 at the
All
first
right.
one.
02.
We already did 01.
Okay,
Your
well,
your
I'll go
secretary
over
did
it.
Typo.
I'll go over it, Z 26-02, so we're all legal. So, what are our thoughts on this?
I think we're extremely in the right direction for it. But everything that's, Maddie's put a lot of work into this. And I know she's been contacting a lot of people on it. And we're pretty much following, with it, we're following the state guidelines pretty well. So why do we want to recreate something that's already available for us?
Okay, good thought. Pam?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think following the state guidelines, why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly. Okay, Shelley?
Childcare is desperately needed, and we can't attract families if we don't have people that can care for them. So yeah, I'm strong support. Thank you for the work you did.
Marlene?
Yeah, we desperately need childcare, and we have very little childcare, and we're trying to attract young people into our town, and you have no place to place your child that's safe while you're trying to work, so it would be a good thing to have.
Very good comments. So with that, I'll ask for a motion for this to approve or deny.
Should it be worded approve with the amendments or the additions, changes?
Just approve Z 2602.
I'll make the motion to approve Z 2602.
I'll second it.
Oh, wait, no, recommend it to council.
Recommend to
Oh,
council, yeah.
Recommended to council, not
Okay.
approve.
All right, so we have a motion by Shelley, second by Bob. Any further discussion? None, please take roll.
Commissioner Slavinsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiner,
Yes.
Commissioner Membertu,
Yes.
Commissioner McBride,
Yes.
Chair Whitliff.
Yes, thank you. Public comments and communication. there's anyone in the audience that has anything? You just snuck right up there, didn't you?
Because I'm stealth, I'm very stealth.
She's stealth.
I have a
Stealthy.
concern and a comment, I guess.
Okay, could we get your name and address,
Linda
please?
Gamache Chick, I live at 345 Fourth Avenue.
Okay.
I don't live over by Jackson Street, but I know the people that do. So, best case scenario, all those tiny houses are built and sold. I buy one. I decide I don't like it. Can I rent it to my son? I heard somebody say that you can't buy one of those houses to turn around and use it as a rental. Is there language that would stop somebody?
Short-term rental.
So it would be, based on the covenants and the HOA,
If there's an HOA.
yeah. The economy efficient housing, which is separate from this, similar sort of concept, that one we do have a line item in the ordinance that it can't be a short-term rental. This would ultimately be up to George. I don't think it's his intent for them to be rentals because he's focused on that
It wouldn't be
ownership.
my intent either, but what happens, okay, so my son, he moves in for 6 months and moves out, that's considered short-term, correct?
That would be long-term.
That would be long-term?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is short-term in the city? I don't have any idea.
28 days.
28 days, okay.
Yeah, and for rent would be for money. So if he's not paying you, it would
No, it would
not
be for money.
count. So that would be a long-term rental, and we register those with the city.
Okay.
And so
But I don't know, I truly do not know. Isn't there short-term rentals that have never registered with the city? Has anybody caught up on that yet?
that's what we're working on.
You're
So the
working-
short-term rental ordinance just passed, and we are
Okay.
we're working through compliance on that.
Yeah, those are my concerns, and number one, I don't think there's enough room over there neither. It's great, it's a great idea, it truly is, but you put that many kids with that many old people, just like in an apartment building, you can't put kids on top of old people, and you can't put kids under old people, because it does not work. It just doesn't. That's just the way life is. And I'm an old lady, and I don't want any kids over me neither. And I don't have any kids in my neighborhood, they're all a couple doors down. But there again, if I bought one of those houses, I'd probably have kids, and see, that would be my concern. I'd have to really look, and I'd probably have to be the last one to buy anything and be looking who lives there and how many kids they have. And that's just kind of like a fact of life. People my age worry about that. Not worry about it, but think about it, wonder about it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? No? Okay, we'll move along. Staff board and reports,
Did you have
ZBA
something?
meeting.
Yeah.
My name is Bob Canby. I live at 495 8th Street in Manistee. My wife and my son Bobby. We chose Manistee November of 2018. Kept driving up the shore of Lake Michigan and stopped at this beautiful Victorian neighborhood. My wife being from the Seattle area, always wanted a Victorian home, and now I'm forever updating a Victorian home. We love it here. I want to thank the commission for hearing George. I'm part of George's team as well. I want to let you guys know that we formed during COVID, and we have 5 of our 6 members have Manistee addresses. So we share the same concerns that you've heard tonight from the different neighbors. We're a local group, we're not a builder, and we're here to address the need. We're driven by faith, as George has said, and we feel that we can do something in this community and make a difference. Everyone's concerns are valid. I believe there's big rocks and small rocks. I think the big rocks are, in this situation, are the data speaks for itself. There is a need, and can we address the needs of Planning Commission? I think the small rocks, like HOA, things like that, can be worked out. It's definitely not something that we hang our hats on by any means. So just a true word of thanks from our group, but I really wanted to let you guys know who we're made up of. The builder that we've chosen is a US-based builder, but the builder has a Manistee address here. He and his wife and son live here. He's built a lot of different things, both commercial and residential, here, and so really I think there's a big community rally with the different individuals we have in our group, and we thank you for hearing us on this, for sure.
Thank you. Okay. All right, anyone else? No? Okay. Now we'll move to staff board reports, ZBA meeting, 427. Who's on the ZBA?
Only missed, not Shelley.
Oh.
Not Shelley. No, it's okay. Good news is they didn't make a decision, so you'll get a second chance. A decision was not made. The ZBA has requested that I make a recommendation. I have been reviewing it with the lawyer. That will be shared with the ZBA probably on Monday, and the plan is to re-meet on May 18th. The Wanderin is looking to relocate the billboard on their property, and they are seeking variance from the setback between signs. Marlene, if you recall, you were actually on the ZBA when they moved that billboard in the first place.
Yep, I remember. I'm not that old, I can remember that.
I saw your name on there. I thought maybe we'll have to chat. So they are looking to move it to the parking lot. They would ultimately lose some parking, but it has yet to be decided. That will be.
What time is the,
It is Monday, May 18th at 4 o'clock. I need.
Calendar's open.
Oh, write it down.
I'm putting it in.
We confirmed at the meeting. I will call the ZBA members again to confirm before I put it on the official city calendar next week.
When that sign came before ZBA, Roger and I were on that, there was hardly anything down in there. That was all barren. And the old Little Caesars, and then it was some other pizza place. That was it. And I think that's why it got put through, because there was nothing down in there.
And so they moved it because the MDOT updates were underway to put drainage in under there, and they were going to have to either get rid of the sign or move it. And so they're looking to move it again. Essentially the exact same variance that came through in 2004. NRBC Spring Cleanup Day. Mark has actually joined the NRBC. Today was our first meeting. I'm also the staff liaison for that commission. We have a spring cleanup event on Saturday, May 16th. Kyle, I hope you're writing this one down. 8 a.m. to noon, we are collecting large items and Freon items. And Republic, DPW, and the NRBC will be there in assistance. All local residents are welcome. Bring an ID, and we'll take your stuff. Hope to see a turnout. Oh, it's at the Armory. It's at the Armory.
Armory.
so if anyone would want to come down and help out?
If anyone would like to help or donate, not donate, but get rid of their stuff.
Me to you.
There's donuts.
So,
Mark did promise to bring treats because he's the newest member.
I'll make sure my pager goes
I
off that
don't
time.
recall, I'll have to go through the notes, but
I think Councilmember Grabowski signed you up directly.
I don't talk to him, so.
Is there a list of what's allowed?
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so the city posted on the website, I might have the screen's not working. The city has a graphic on the website, and Republic sent one to the paper. Large items, we're not taking tires, we're not taking paint, but we are taking like air conditioners, fridges, things that would require the Freon tag, and we're taking those free of charge.
The electronics.
I gotta keep scrolling, I didn't put it in there. I don't think so.
Okay.
Does that include they're taking furniture and stuff?
I think that counts as the large item.
I'll just clarify, I misspoke about Mr. Grabowski, not talking to him. He can buy, so. Because you sit next to him.
You gotta spread the
Put a
word.
bug in his wife's ear.
I didn't even know we had a restoration.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I've got the graphic.
And no one's about me buying.
Mattresses, box springs, desks, chairs, hutches, dressers, bookshelves, tables, couches, toilets, washers, dryers, doors, cabinets, all metal items. Fridges, freezers, air conditioners, dehumidifiers, wine coolers, ice makers. Not taking tires, construction debris, stumps, pool tables, garage doors, hazardous waste, propane tanks, concrete, boats, pianos, trailers, spas, shower modules, or auto fenders. So spread the word.
There's are metal,
Crush it in ball. Some,
just saying.
Well, that's an exception to the all metal.
It used to be. I don't
Okay.
think they have it for very long.
Yeah, they're all
The
plastic.
last couple of things I've hit, they've been plastic.
So if you know anyone looking to get rid of stuff, we will be there for 4 hours on
And you
Saturday.
have to
Bring
be
your
city
bring your
resident
ID. Yep,
and
city
bring your ID.
residents.
So, but Bob, you can still volunteer.
I'll just shoot it across the lake.
No, I'll come get you, so. All right. Meeting and training attended by members. Anybody? Bob, did you finish up yours?
I've been getting inundated with a bunch of Zoom meetings from a bunch of other organizations I'm involved with, so I'm trying to keep track of which one is which right now. So once I figure out which one goes where, if any of them fits for us, I will forward it over to Maddie.
You have time at night from like midnight to 8 in the morning, so you can get them done. Not that I'm picking on you.
I'm already in the office till 7 or 8 at night.
All right. Pam?
I don't think I did anything since that last Zoom meeting.
List,
Okay,
but none that I've done.
all right. Let's work on that list, eh?
I would love to.
Okay. When you have time.
Right.
Marlene?
I can't volunteer, but I might make you some trees for that.
Well, you can come and carry a stick, so. All right.
Traffic director.
Yeah. Member discussion? I think maybe we've already covered that ground, but anything, Bob?
Nope, the things are starting to look good, but the city pretty well aware of that blown out wall in that building over on First Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad, and it looks like it's sagging more.
Yeah, the citation and procedure has been started there. Jerry did ultimately take an enforcement approach there.
Okay.
And he asked for, so originally they are looking to fix it and he's asking for an engineered drawing.
I think it's beyond repair.
So that's the next steps.
What was that?
The old pink pump building, there,
Oh, okay.
right across the street from the laundromat.
Yep. Gotcha.
East side, it's pretty much a 40 by 50 hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole side up top is so
Yes.
wide open, yeah.
Mhm. And I've seen stuff falling out of that.
It's blocked off from the street and it's just on the timeline of the law.
Pam?
Alto from the church came over and talked to me the other day. He needed some clarification about the letter that you sent him about the light. He made a minor adjustment, so it's a little bit better. Not great, but it's a little bit better. He did try.
Okay. I've been meaning to drive past, but I get into bed at 9 p.m. and the sun has now set at 9:30.
He does have it on a timer, so
Okay.
it will go off at 11.
If you have any issues and you send pictures and write it up, I can share that with him.
Yeah, he's moved it a little.
That might be easier in the summer months as I'm a.
Yeah, he's got it on a timer, so I'm
Okay.
just letting it drop.
And the First Street, I did reach out to Jeff about the boat launch lights. And he said they've been dimmed from last year because I got a couple other complaints about those.
It's very, very.
And so
I did go down there and it's,
I'm going to keep chatting with him about maybe we dim it again this year.
yeah, we definitely are not in the dark sky mode right now down there.
Do they have the shields on?
I don't think they have any shields on them right now. If they do, they're very small shields. But it's bright as day down
Is
there.
it the boat launch? Or
At the boat launch.
Or the fish cleaning station?
At the boat launch.
Because the cleaning station's right, well, of course it has.
Yeah, it is. No, this is at the boat launch, and there's like 4 or 5?
I don't go out in the dark.
Okay. It's like 4 or 5 of them. I mean, it's bright as day out there in the middle, at night. I don't, yeah.
Okay, I'll take a ride down there. So,
I haven't been down there the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been home, so.
okay.
I have nothing else.
Arlene?
Like to thank you for all of your hard work putting all this stuff together all the time, and for everybody for their share of working. And I brought a card for Roger, and he's holding his own, and he's up at West Shore, and he has to go somewhere for some physical therapy, and we'll see what happens from that.
Well, we wish Roger the best. We do need our little captain back, so I don't have anything. How about that?
Hey, how about that?
Trying to be good. So 7:39, I'll ask for adjournment.
Motion.